Next author is Alex Granados.
Granados.
Okay. And he is producer for The State of Things, North Carolina Public Radio, WNC. He's also the North Raleigh news columnist for the News and Observer. His debut novel, Cemetery Plot, was released on Halloween of this year. It follows a mad scientist, a living dead medium, a depressed wannabe zombie, and their friends as they fight to stop the zombie apocalypse. He will be bringing to us a dramatic essay called Death by Big Screen TV.
So I have to record this for my wife because this is a story about my in-laws, and she likes nothing better than to hear me talk about my in-laws. So this is a holiday-themed story because this took place during Christmas, and what you need to know to set the story up is what happened the previous Christmas. So I met my now wife about a little over 2 years ago. 3 months after we started dating, I went to Shelbyville, Tennessee to meet her parents for the first time. I flew up there, I was there for 24 hours, and I left. That entire time we spent together in a hot tub. Me, her, and her parents. So my entire introduction to them was in her bathing suits, which sounds kind of nice. I've never been in a hot tub before, I was enjoying it, but the bubbles kept on rising up my shorts, and they were expanding like a balloon, and it would lift my butt off the floor, right? And so then I'd grab onto my wife to anchor myself down, and when I tried to do that, it looked like I was groping her. And so this is me trying to have a conversation with my in-laws while I'm groping their daughter, and they're trying to find out all about me. So that's my introduction to my in-laws, right? 24 hours, they're gone. Last year, we go back to Shelbyville, Tennessee, and we spend a week this time with her parents. Her parents like me, we've talked a little bit since then. We've laughed about the previous year's story. And I do not have any indication yet that every single Christmas I'm going to come away with a story. So this story, I've really gotten to love hot tubs. You know, like I said, I've never been in one before. That was my first time. So all I wanted to do on the second Christmas trip was get in the hot tub. And I got in it a fair amount. And then on the last day before we're going to leave, her parents say to us, "What would you guys like to do on your last day?" And we said, "We just want to get in the hot tub, get out and eat, get back in the hot tub. This is all we want to do." They say, "That's fine," but then her dad says, "One thing, I have this TV that I need help moving. Would you mind helping me move it?" And I think, sure, that's no problem, you know. Normal size TV, you need 2 people, it's a little too heavy for one person. I'm happy to chip in. So he says, "All right, I appreciate that." So I get up that morning, and this is, you know, obviously in the middle of winter, and I put on my bathing suit because I know that all I'm going to do this day is get into the hot tub. And I go down, we sit, we're having breakfast, and her father comes in and says, "Well, would you like to come help me move the TV now?" I say, "Sure, that sounds great." So we walk down to his basement, which is down a long flight of steps, and he's a hoarder. So there's, you know, toilet paper, he's bought like 20 drills that he's never opened that are stacked against the walls. We walk through this maze, this catacomb of crap, and we come to this big screen TV. And this is not your flat screen, you know, pop it up on the wall kind of TV. This is the big screen TV circa 1980, the ones that were carved out of a solid piece of like mahogany wood and weigh like 700 pounds. And so it's one block, and there is about 1 inch of clearance on the bottom of this TV, and that is where you need to lift it from. And he said, and I look at it, and immediately I think, we're going to need to pay somebody to come move this. and you know, there's 2 kinds of people in the world. My wife's family, they are doers. And what I mean by that is they will do anything, no matter what it is, as long as they don't have to pay somebody to do it. So they have this real can-do attitude. My family, on the other hand, we like to pay people to do things for us. And it's not that we have a whole lot of money, it's just that we're really inept at doing things, like carrying big screen TVs out of the basement, right? So I see it, and I'm thinking to myself, we really need to get someone to come take care of this. But I figure I will humor him, because there is no way we are lifting this TV and taking it anywhere. So it has wheels. We wheel it to the edge of the steps. Now, fortunately, from the basement to the garage, which is on the other side of the basement, it's only 6 stone steps. So I think, all right, maybe we can do this. So he gets on one side of the TV when we get to the base of the steps, and he leans down. He's a strong guy. He leans down, puts his fingers underneath there. He says, "All right, on 3 you lift." So I get on the other side, I put my fingers underneath there, and like they can literally just barely fit under that crack, right? So I put my fingers underneath there, and he says, all right, lift. And I start trying to lift, and he lifts, and he's strong. So his part goes like a foot off the ground or something like that. And mine goes nowhere. Instead, the wood is just gashing against the base of my fingers. I'm like, stop, 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 I'm gonna lose a finger. She was like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. And he puts the TV down, he's like, oh, this clearly isn't gonna work. So why don't you go upstairs and talk to the girls for a little while, I'm gonna figure this out. So I go upstairs, and my wife and her sister and her mom are having a glass of wine at this point, and my wife is like, are we going to get in the hot tub soon? I said, honey, and I whispered to her, I said, honey, I think that you're going to have to call someone to come get this TV. I don't think we're going to be able to get it out of here. She says, oh, no, yeah, Dad will figure it out, don't worry. So in a few minutes, I'm like, fine. So I just sit there, they drink their wine. A few minutes later, her dad comes up and says, come down, I have an idea. So I come down there, and he has a dolly. And keep in mind that this TV is probably twice my length, all right? So he has a dolly up against one side. He's wrapped his big belt around it and attached it to the dolly. And he says, I'm going to pull, you push, and get it up the steps like this. I say, fine. So I get behind it, I push, he pulls, he's just, and it goes up about a foot and just makes it over to that first step and just sits there on that first step. They're like, okay, just got to do it 5 more times. We'll get it up the steps. So he goes, all right, on 3. 1, 2, 3. He pulls, and it will not move. There's something about that first step. You just can't get it up to that second step. You can't pull it up another inch. He says, all right, Alex, go get a box and put it under your end. And we'll just leave it there for a minute, and let me think about this. And you go back and talk to the girls. I said, okay. Go upstairs, and at this point, my wife and her sister and her mom are eating lunch. And I sit down, it looks really good, it's like salmon and salad. I haven't had anything to eat. I'm still in my bathing suit, and like a short sleeve t-shirt. And so I sit down and my wife's like, well, how's it going? And I lean in, I'm kind of irritated at this point, because all I wanted to do is get in the hot tub and say, honey, you need to go talk to your dad, and you need to go hire somebody to come get this TV. And she looks at me and she goes, that's not how we locks do things. She turns to her sister, whose name's Dawn, and she says, Dawn, let's go out and see what we can do with Dad and see about getting this TV going. So at this point, my wife and her sister are going to man up and do a better job of this than I am. So I'm following them. They're going out to the shed where my father-in-law has disappeared. And this shed is the size of their house. It's like a second house, full to the brim with all of his work stuff. Nobody dares go in there but him, and he is in the middle of it, throwing stuff around, looking for something, I don't know what. So my wife and her sister disappear in there, and I'm standing outside like, oh God, we just need to call somebody, let's just call somebody. They come out with her dad smiling, carrying a hand winch and 2 metal poles. And I'm looking at this, oh my God, this is really bad, man. I really need to call someone. And I was like, what are you going to do with that? And her dad's like, well, I'm going to take these 2 poles, I'm going to put them at 90-degree angles, and I'm going to wedge them up against the wall at the top of the steps, and I'm going to attach the winch to that, and attach that to the TV, and you and Dawn are going to push, and me and Mandy, we're going to crank the winch, and it's going to go up the stairs. And I was just like, oh my God, this is not going to work. Somebody is going to get seriously injured. And keep in mind, I have been fed a steady diet of stories about her father trying to move a pool table by himself and like gashing his hands to pieces, falling off the roof of a house trying to fix an air conditioner, being knocked out, coming to and getting back up on the house to fix the air conditioner. Like, these are the stories I've been fed. I'm like, I'm not going to survive that. So anyway, we get over to the top of the stairs. He puts the 2 metal bars in there. He attaches the winch. He attaches it to the TV. He says, Don, you and Alex, you go down the other side of the TV. And you can't see over the TV. We have to go all the way around the house, into the kitchen, into the living room, down the stairs, into the basement, to the other side of the TV, just so we can push. We can't see them, we can just hear them on the other side of the TV. They say, all right, we have this winch hooked up. You guys push when we say 3, and we're going to pull it up the stairs. So, me and Don get up there, I look at her, I say, okay. And they go, 1, 2, 3, and they start winching. It goes, rrr, rrr. And to my utter amazement, this thing starts moving up the stairs. And it gets up the second step, and they're like, and me and Don are pushing, and it gets up to the third step. And I look over at Don, I'm like, wow, this is gonna work. And then I hear a bang! And all of a sudden, the full weight of that TV comes crashing down on me and Don, and I'm pushing, and I put my back up against it, and I look over at Don, and I'm like, I'm not sure if we're going to make it, Don. And she's like, just hold on. And I hear my wife on the other side of the TV going, hold on, I'll get it, I'll get it. And I just don't know. I just don't know if I'm going to make it. And then I hear her, and she goes, I got it. And the pressure comes off. She had reattached the winch, and it just slipped off. And I looked over at Don and I go, we really need to call somebody. So her father goes, all right, on 3, I'm going to start doing it again. You guys get ready. 1, 2, 3. He goes, rrr, rrr, rrr. It goes up to the 4th step. 2 more steps to go, something like that. Rrr, rrr. Goes up to the 5th step. And then all of a sudden, again, I hear, bing, and the full weight of the TV comes crashing down on me and Don again. And I look over at her and I think to myself, and I'm saying this jokingly, but at the time, I was thinking it sincerely. I wonder if Don's face is the last face I'm going to see before I die underneath this TV. So we're pushing with all of our might. We're slipping. We lose like 2 steps. It is actually pushing us further down towards the basement because it is too heavy for us. And I hear my wife going, hold on, I'm going to get it. It's going to be okay. And then finally the weight comes off, and they say, we got it. We're going to get it up the rest of the way now. And they start going, brr, brr, and it goes up all the rest of the stairs to the basement floor, and it is there. We can walk up. I walk around it. I look at it, and Don, that's the name of my father-in-law also, his daughter and him are both named Don. Say, Don, I'm impressed. I did not think you could do it. Now what do we have to do? He says, well, we have to get it to the truck. So there is a grassy hill about 30 yards away leading to the flatbed of a truck where we will have to lift it up and put it into the flatbed of the truck. And I think to myself, I really think we need to just hire someone to come get this TV. And how we got that TV to that flatbed of the truck is a story for another day. So I'll let you guess whether it happened or not.